This is Valerie Van Boeven with the Senior Care Industry Netcast, where leaders with 3 or more years of experience in the senior care market share their advice. So let's get to it. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, thank you, Valerie. Thank you for the invite. My name is Lucille Faciane. I'm currently the administrator at ANX Hospice Care. We provide hospice services in the San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, and East Bay area. And I have worked for both non-for-profit hospital and non-for-profit hospice agency before I joined ANX Hospice. I've been a nurse for about 34 years. So lots of experience. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm right behind you there. So I understand. I always tell people I am 200 years old in nurse years. So you can't tell me anything I haven't already heard, baby. It's not going to happen. So anyway, yeah, we appreciate all of your experience, and hospice is a service area that is definitely for angels, because it's a lot to handle. It's a lot to help the family with. It's a whole another world of care that most of us don't understand until we're there. So thank you for doing that. And so tell us, what is the best thing about serving adults, aging adults? I know you probably have many ages that you serve. A lot of them are aging adults, but I'm sure hospice care, unfortunately, can be implemented for anyone of any age. We know that. So what's the best thing about what you do?
Well, looking back over my life, I must admit that the most important times have occurred when I was actively or working for a company who's engaged in helping others. It's impossible to create happy, meaningful, rewarding life without being of service to others in some way. So the hospice platform for me has been very rewarding for me. When we serve other people, we are not only able to see outside of ourselves, but we are able to see the beauty and the good things that brings beyond ourselves. And what is there not to like about serving the adults? To be able to help a human being is a great gift. We get to be a part of their journey. The visits of what we do, at least in the hospice world, is not a transaction. It is building relationship, and it's all about the client's wishes. So it is really very rewarding. It's a win-win for both the caregivers, the client, and the families, and for the clinicians as well.
Yeah, I would say that of all the nursing roles or all the medical roles that anyone could be involved in, it seems like a really sad time, but hospice care is the most important moments of a person's life. Are those, if, we're lucky enough to have a moment, some people are instantly pass away in a car accident or whatever, but when we can plan and when we know and our families can be with us and we have a good hospice team, that hospice team is providing the most important services probably of that person's life.
Definitely.
A lot of ways, and of that family's life. And it's interesting. I always, say this about a lot of different types of home care, but when you read an obituary, or you read, about someone's passing, many, many times, not only is there aren't very many people who are mentioned, because you don't have a lot of space to begin with when you write one, right? But they mention the family, but guess who else is in that obituary a lot of times? Not every time, but a lot of times, that hospice provider, that primary person, or that company itself is mentioned there. And I know that seems like, well, who cares? But people think very carefully about what they're going to put in that limited amount of space and who they would like to thank. And hospice companies are almost always thanked because they made the last days the most comfortable and the best transition that could happen. So you do a wonderful thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I would imagine in your career, in your lifetime, there have been organizations or other leaders or people who have really made an impression on you. Who would you
Mhm.
like to talk about?
Any healthcare provider really working, especially during the COVID times, in their own right, they deserve to really be recognized. Anywhere from our home health aides to our social worker, chaplains, and our doctors. There is someone, though, who has inspired me for many, many years. She has many years of experience in hospice and palliative arena. She has written many books, has had her on a talk show about dying, and her name is actually Dr. Dawn Gross. And our team is very lucky to have her as our medical director. So I would love it if you could invite her. You would really, really, really love her. I learned a lot from her through all these years doing hospice.
We would love to have her on. And, we've only interviewed one other hospice physician, and he was one of the first people I interviewed. And there is a difference not only in when nurses go into hospice, they definitely are taking on something a lot different than most nursing.
Mhm.
And when a physician takes on hospice and is a director and is very involved in, and like you said, written books, and this is their life, is the hospice
Mhm.
area of
Mhm.
medicine, they are a very different person too, in that their whole way of thinking is different from a lot of physicians. And it's really interesting to hear from them and
Mhm.
how they perceive life and death and everything in between. So we would love to have her. It's a great conversation. All
I would
right.
let her know.
Yeah. Uh, so let's talk a little bit about marketing online. Now, I would imagine, I know in hospice that you probably get a whole lot of healthcare referrals and personal referrals from people in your community, because
Mhm.
you've been around for a long time, and you probably get a lot of referrals. But online marketing has also been a great part of what we do, especially in the last year when it's hard for us to network. So how has that affected you guys? What is it?
We do have a website that provides information about hospice, but again, really, as I mentioned earlier, hospice is all about building rapport, relationship, and how do you spotlight that in a website, right? It's been challenging since March, with many family members not comfortable about having a lot of people come into their homes or even facility. The team members has been very creative in doing Zoom,
Mhm.
doing FaceTime, phone calls, following up by emails. That has been extra challenging for our sales rep,
Oh yeah.
to be going out there, right, into hospitals, clinic, with the lockdowns. So quite challenging for them. So they also have been very creative in sending emails, describing the service, uh, putting that how passionate you are about the service that you do and why you do what you do,
Mhm.
is very challenging for us, our sales rep. But we are very lucky to have a writing and editing coach, Christina Dunham, in our company, who helps us create fun, professional, and personalized emails. But what we have discovered is the relationship between the sales rep and the clinical team. The clinicians could be the bridge to the patients and the facilities. Um, again, very challenging in
Yeah.
how to put that in email.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say what your mission, what your vision is, and the philosophy, but
How many times?
and the values, how do you deliver that, because we deal with emotions, we
Yeah.
deal with touching, we deal with face-to-face interactions, so it has been challenging. But the constant telephone calls actually has helped us and many of the family members have welcomed us in their homes.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I know it's been really hard for everybody. I will say though, your PR team, or Christine,
Mm-hmm.
she submitted and I'm just giving her a little pat on the back here. She
Mm-hmm.
submitted a social media post that she had put out for National Social Work Month on one of your Facebook pages, and she won our contest for the month
Oh,
of
great.
March. Yeah, so she got a little gift certificate for being. I mean, and really, it was all about showing. Let's show each other how we can market during a pandemic and still make a difference. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a simple post that she put up, but the amount of engagement that she got from it was pretty incredible. So anyway, it was a great example of someone who does a really good job with that. So we appreciated that from her.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. What piece of advice would you give to other providers out there?
Advices would be to believe in the value of the service or product that you sell, and do it right. We are dealing with human beings, and they're not commodities. So let's do the right thing for them. People see us as experts, so we need to give them the right information. And during this pandemic, it is best to really reach out to them whom you've had business with. So people who are in the business of selling insurance, or caregiving agency, even if you've done business with them, reach out to them and see how they're doing. Just because you've had an agreement before, uh, try and reach out to them. You know, they might be able to give you more business. But
Yeah,
again, as a right, as human beings, especially during this time, it is very difficult. Treat the customers as if they are your family members, and yes, a lot of reaching out. As we all know, mental illness has been a big issue during this pandemic. So, I mean, reach out to them. They have allowed us to be part of their home, part of their life, financial issues. So, I would reach out to them.
yep, absolutely. Great advice. Great advice.
Mhm, mhm.
And okay, so my last question is this. When you have a win in life or in business, how do you like to celebrate? And that could be anything: birthdays, weddings. It could be someone who just, you made that family member happy that day or something like that. Anything.
Well, for our company, well, we have this what we call wow moment group chat. So if anyone has any gone above and beyond what they do for our patients and families, we just give them a shout out in the group chat. We've done Zoom bingos, we've done Zoom picnics. So hopefully this year we will be able to do in-person picnics. We were voted to be, for third year in a row, to be the best place to work in San Francisco. So that really tells us a lot, even during this COVID times. So
Yeah.
we're very happy about that. We've done a lot of Zoom meetings, weekly and daily,
Mhm.
and a lot of celebration. Birthdays, we do shout out for every birthday celebrant in our company, and even with our patients. Even so, during this time, we're bringing them cakes
Yeah.
to say happy birthday. So a lot of win and a lot of exciting stuff
Good.
happening in our company.
It sounds like you guys have really taken a creative approach to staying on top of technology and being able to, really
Mhm.
connect with not only other people out there, but your own staff internally and across the San Francisco area. And I guess California is going to start opening back up in June. So you guys are going to see a little bit of change in some things coming up. So that's awesome
Mhm.
news. And,
Mhm.
we all hope that this is, I know it's not behind us, but
Mhm.
getting behind it.
Right.
So
Yes.
we all have our fingers crossed that all the things that we're doing are the right things and
Yes.
being
Yes.
careful. So thank you very much for sharing your wisdom with us today and for being on the
Thank
show and
you.
taking time out of your busy day to help us. So thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. Thank you so much.